Elena and I are on the legendary Transpantanera. This is the largest wet biotope on the planet. Welcome to the Brazilian Pantanal. In the last episode, we left off on the Chilean-Bolivian border on the Altiplano at 5,000 meters, and we're now making a jump to the center of South America, coming from Cuiabá on the Transpantanera towards Puerto Joffre.
That's why you don't want to fall off the bridges here.
And bridges in somewhat questionable conditions are plentiful in order to reach our destination at the very end of the road. We are here to learn about the work of Pantera Brasil, an NGO dedicated to the conservation of jaguar in Pantanal. Last year, in Patagonia, we documented the work of Tompkins Conservation and their incredible efforts to protect wilderness habitats and species like the puma.
I'm gonna get emotional.
We also listened to rural Patagonian sheep farmers who saw rewilding and conservation of predators as a potential threat to their basis of existence. In light of the global extinction crisis, we're keen to learn as much as we can on our journey through the Americas. We are now in Brazil, and we're truly excited to learn about jaguar conservation in Pantanal. At the very end of the road, deep in the heart of Pantanal, we reach Joffre Velho Ranch.
Vincent and I are here to learn about the work of Pantera Brasil, an NGO dedicated to the conservation of big cats.
When Pantera bought Joffre Velho Ranch, the goal was not just to protect 25,000 acres of land, but also to build a school and to use it as a research ranch to find ways of coexistence between the tradition of cattle ranching and the mighty jaguar. Here we meet Fernando, one of Pantera's biologists and conservation scientists. He is about to take an ATV into the swamps and invites us to come along.
We're now with Fernando. He invited us to join him collecting some trap cameras. Maybe some jaguar footage, who knows?
O meu pai, ele é biólogo, ele se chama Fernando e trabalha aqui na Pantera, com onça, jaguatirica, porque elas são muito bonitas, uma espécie muito legal. E aí ele explica sobre as onças, monitora, vê se tá tudo bem com elas.
Perfeito, Let's go!
Fernando invites us to join him on an ATV mission into the wetlands to check on a camera trap. We've been advised against coming to Pantanal during the wet season, when 90% of the land is flooded. The heat and humidity are impossible to describe. And we need to rush, as dark clouds are forming fast, and out here, in the swamps, is the last place you want to be when a violent tropical thunderstorm moves in.
Just a little crocodile on the way.
So cute.
Yeah.
That's a good place for a ocelot stay during the day. They choose this very dense vegetation and spend all day sleeping, and during the night start to walk around here. And this camera here take a lot of pictures of ocelots.
Will we be able to see the photos?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just put in the computer. I will remove this camera. It's very important to know how the animals are moving and which kind of trail they use. Like for jaguars and ocelots, this kind of trail, it's perfect. I know that have many good pictures here.
Yeah. Tem algo mais que você queira falar?
No.
Corre!
Let's go!
Fuck. Running away from a thunderstorm! I'm so dirty! Looking like a Hitchcock movie.
so much for taking us.
Fernando is an expert on jaguar ecology and the challenges in Pantanal. Together with Rafael, the supervisor of Pantera Brazil and initiator of the research range, Fernando has published papers about jaguar conservation in the most renowned scientific publications.
As a top predator, jaguars control their prey population, and it's a very important species to keep this balance in the ecosystem. And I think the most strong population is in Amazon and here in the Pantanal. Because in another landscape like Atlantic Forest or Cerrado, the population are very fragmented and isolated. That's a problem in a long-term perspective. And here in the Pantanal, this population are connected with the Amazon population. Pantanal is a keystone area for jaguar conservation.
We couldn't be more excited to learn about jaguar and the Pantanal from Fernando and his wonderful wife Ju over the next couple of days.
That bird fell out of the nest, and now we found a new mom apparently. I'll go in and change the wet clothes.
That was a nice mission. What a nice couple, eh? They are cool.
They're very nice.
After a quick shower, we get to see the footage from the trap camera.
It's a dinosaur.
Is it possible here in Pantanal? I don't doubt anything.
That is a frog.
Oh.
Have a look. Whoa. Yes. Oh, look this.
Is it the same one?
No, it's another one.
Wow.
Let's open the two pictures just to compare. Have a look.
Yeah, okay.
Look in his face. Have just two lines, and look this one.
And also this one here is
And
much longer.
yeah, we have some place in the animal that we look first to see this difference between them. And this is probably it's a new one because I never saw this. It's very beautiful animal. We are in the middle of the wet season and most of the landscape are flooded and probably the animal become more aggregate. That is the jaguar that was curious with the trap.
Okay.
It just stopped and they're looking because the trap is here. They're looking for the trap. Looking again. This picture is a cat. Very
so
curious.
Beautiful, yeah.
And you.
That's me. I appeared in things.
Wait, what is it? Is that like a tapir?
Yeah, a tapir. Yeah, it's a tapir.
After yesterday's ATV ride and seeing the jaguar on the trap camera right where we had just been an hour earlier gets us super excited to explore Pantanal from the water. On the boat ride, we're eager to learn about this fragile ecosystem from Fernando. And of course, we do have the dream to catch a glimpse of the mysterious jaguar.
Photo assistance.
We are joined on the boat by Fernando's wife Ju, who happens to be a professor of biology. They explain us about the Pantanal.
Okay, let's go. Well, the Pantanal is one of the largest wetlands in the world. It's located exactly in the center of South America, mostly in Brazilian side, but have some areas in Paraguay and also in Bolivia.
It is a giant basin in which the Rio Paraguay and several tributaries merge. In the dry season, Pantanal is for the most part a riverfront savanna. But between December and March, in peak wet season, torrential downpours fill up Pantanal like a bathtub, submerging up to 90% of the land.
The land use in the Pantanal was occupied by cattle ranchers since 200 years ago because the Pantanal it's a mosaic of forests, savannas and a lot of grasslands.
It's peak wet season and spotting a jaguar is difficult. our eyes and brains hurd from the concentrated stares into the wall of green to maybe catch a glimpse of this elusive predator.
Like there could be something there, but it's too...
From high up in the tree, a howler monkey observes what's happening below. We haven't been lucky with jaguar yet, but we're amazed at the multitude of animal noises that we hear. This shout is a capybara, the largest rodent on the planet. Mind you, at over 75 kilograms, these are not your usual guinea pigs. They are also a favorite prey of jaguars, which always keeps our hopes up to see one soon. One level higher, another inhabitant feasts on the same fruits. This is a hyacinth macaw.
You can see, because I'm not the photographer here, but this here is a blue arara.
At up to 1 meter body length and around 1.5 kilos, it's the largest flying parrot. These guys live monogamously and stay together all their lives. They are also known to use tools, and we're excited to see this happening in front of our lens. Look at how this one picks a leaf and uses it to prevent the nut from slipping.
You seeing this?
Unfortunately, habitat loss and trapping for the pet trade has reduced their numbers to little over 4,000 individuals left. They are incredibly cute acrobats, but the only place they belong is in the wild. We are now deep in remote Pantanal. Fernando knows the place by heart and directs the boat into what looks like solid ground to us. And just when we've almost made it through, the engine dies with a piercing warning sound. And we're stuck.
Eliseu na escuta. Mas o problema é elétrico, não é nem...
Well, this is a good moment for breakfast, no?
Eliseu na escuta.
Pega uma bateria e leva, tá? Mas não depende de ter bateria. Alô.
We can't get the engine back to life. And while we wait for rescue, we'd like to learn a little more about Panthera's approach to conservation.
Conservation, it's the right to exist for any kind of species or landscape. It's a way to conciliate humans with biodiversity. Panthera, it's an NGO that works with Felis conservations around the world. Here in the Pantanal, we work mostly with jaguars and ocelot and try to understand their ecology and try to understand how they move in the landscape. And also we work in partnership with many cattle ranchers to try to reduce the conflict between cattle ranching and jaguar conservation. It's a cultural conflict because it starts since the beginning when the first ranchers arrive in the Pantanal and putting their cattle here, the jaguars come to eat the cattle. This creates a culture for the ranchers to kill in retaliation the jaguars that provoked some damage to them.
On the boat stuck in the swamp, Fernando explained us about the traditional conflict between jaguar conservation and cattle ranching, and we're eager to learn more about ranching in the area. 2 days later, back at Panthera's research ranch, we are offered an incredible opportunity.
Very early start today, 4:30. We are living with all the cattle. They are living with all the cattle for a 4-day expedition.
In the wet season, almost all land gets flooded and farmers need to gather their herds and bring them to higher ground. It's a long, tough and risky migration both for the cattle and the cowboys. And today, at sunrise, the expedition will start from Joffre Valley Range.
Oi.
Uma video.
Então vamos ter uma visita com essa princesa linda.
Rosa linda tá cuidando muito da gente.
Uma coisa que nós preparamos para muitos dias atrás, né? É o nosso trabalho, é a nossa responsabilidade. Responsabilidade com tudo. Com o cavalo que está montado, com o gado que está tocando, com você mesmo e com os companheiros, né? Confio em vocês, vocês são os funcionários que eu tenho aqui a maior confiança, tá bom?
This charismatic man who is preparing his team for a long journey is Eliseo. He is the manager of Pantera's research ranch.
Sou Eliseu Evangelista da Silva, sou poconiano. A minha função aqui é a administração aqui da fazenda Joffre Valley. Aí estamos saindo com essa comitiva, nós vamos levando lá para a parte mais alta lá, onde ela tem condições de passar as águas. Eu nasci em 66, em 1970 abriu a Transpantaneira, meu pai foi construtor das pontes aqui. Então desde essa época aqui eu já andava. As pessoas que chegam no Pantanal com o intuito de preservar, sem o conhecimento básico dos pantaneiros, ele não consegue fazer nenhum tipo de preservação.
We catch up with the cattle track, and it's an impressive sight to see.
So they're living with 444 head of cattle. Doing more or less 90 kilometers over the course of likely 4 days. But he was telling me that every year is later and later. Usually they do that by November, December, because it's when the water starts. And now, I mean, it's the 4th of March right now. The wet season takes longer to arrive. It's the first time that these cattle are doing that. So they're not used to the bridge. And he was afraid of this one now because it was like long and the cattle get really scared, you know, with the noise of the bridge, so they go to the sides. So it was like tense. Now in the car we're like, is that gonna work? Is that not gonna work? It's tough.
But it's crazy, these pantaneros, if you see them operate on horses,
They're so good.
crazy. They run into the bushes,
Yeah.
they just run into the
Yeah.
1-2 meter deep water here.
And one of the boys here, he's 13 years old, the one he's going. And he's doing very good, and Elise was telling me, like, it's very nice that it goes to the next generation and the guys learn how to do that, you know, because it's the tradition, it's the life here.
And then the cowboys prepare one of the spare horses for Elena to accompany the track as a pantanera.
E aí, tá indo bem?
Vamos dar uma olhada ali, eu acho que ali não vai ter que passar.
Não, mas eu filmei bastante. Eu vou botar por baixo aqui.
Isso.
Aí.
Aí, pode...
Let's go, friend. I'm a good horse rider. Let's go. Pop, pop. Tá indo? Obrigada. Dude. Ui. Wow, that was like a day. Eliseo is coming back to grab some food and the guys continue until like 3 o'clock or so, where they're gonna sleep. And then tomorrow I think they're gonna have a longer day. Today is the first day, so it's a bit shorter to see if, you know, everyone does all right. But I think we come back now, let my horse rest a bit, because tomorrow he's gonna work. Let's go. So they're doing more or less 90 kilometers over the course of likely 4 days. And today we've done 19 kilometers already, but it's only half day, so 20% done. They're doing very good.
E o importante, o mais gostoso de tudo isso aí é você fazer o trabalho que você faz do dia a dia ser aquele trabalho prazeroso que você faz com amor, entendeu?
We can see with how much heart Eliseo is connected to the place and knows about the reality of cattle ranching here.
Se você quiser produzir no Pantanal, você tem que ter coragem. Você tem que encarar ele de verdade mesmo. Você não pode ficar brincando de criador. Porque nós temos um problema aqui que é a onça, se você não cuidar, ela pega.
When Pantera bought Joffrey Value Ranch, the goal was not just to protect 25,000 acres of land, but to create a model ranch for anti-predation techniques, where Pantera can show other ranchers how to protect their cattle from jaguar attacks. This is a water buffalo. They stay with the cattle night and day. And they are very intimidating.
Pantera found out that if you have a couple buffaloes in the middle of the herd of cows, there are less jaguar attacks because they stand strong and they're more aggressive than the cows. So in case of a jaguar attack, they're going to act as bodyguards, and that could be a solution for the conflict with jaguars and farmers. They do look aggressive. They are like, not here.
Elena prefers to be up close with the cattle.
Hi, my dear. Hi. You're so beautiful. Yeah. This bird was named after him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he talks a lot, and the bird also does a lot of noise, so she named after him. Celso and Celcinho.
We are afraid of the water buffalo, the jaguar is afraid of the water buffalo. Seems like the only person who's not afraid is the Pantanero, who invites us to get up close and personal with the bull of the herd.
I trust my friend. Tranqui. Amigo. Amigo. Eu já fiz carinho em você, você lembra?
Ele foi detrás dele aqui, né?
Eu fiz já carinho em você, você lembra de mim?
Aqui pra trás. Perguntar nele, você não fazer isso aqui.
Ah, meu Deus do céu! Tá, melhor não.
Every evening, the cattle is rounded up and put in a night enclosure, protected by electric fences, lights, a Pantanero bull, and these buffaloes. With these measures, Pantera was able to reduce the cattle damage at Joffrey Value Ranch to almost zero.
I think that's the best way to convince a rancher, because we can invite them to visit our ranch and show to them what we are doing. It's a real world. It's totally possible to coexist. It's a process that you need first start a conversation with the rancher and try to understand his point of view.
Tudo tem que ter um diálogo e ter conhecimento das pessoas que viveram ali dentro, porque ali é a base de tudo. Querer preservar, primeiro vou conhecer a cultura do pessoal, quem já estava aqui antes, para você poder fazer alguma coisa. Mas você chegar lá e impor uma lei aqui, ó, isso aqui de hoje em diante vai ser dessa forma aqui, isso não funciona.
Because it's not just say to him, no, stop to killing the jaguar.
Então essas pessoas têm que ser respeitadas, têm que ser chamadas, têm que ser ouvidas. Então nós temos que mostrar a capacidade de você poder criar o gado sem ter que matar a onça.
And in many cases here in the Pantanal, the ranchers start to work with ecotourism.
Mudou muito. Hoje mudou muito a cabeça das pessoas. E as pessoas também entenderam que a onça pode não ser só prejuízo para ele, mas pode ser uma parceria de lucro.
As a conservationist, you need to be optimist. it's impossible to work in this world with conservation if you are not an optimist person. Because you need to believe that it's possible. And we have many examples that it's possible. Here we have a good example that the jaguar, that it's a problem for centuries for the rangers, become an attraction and a tourist asset to them. And maybe that's a good example. That's our rescue. Mas lá na São Bento Grande ele quase não ligou. É, né? Tentei, daí foi e pegou. Daí eu achei estranho. Ele não consumiu.
Looks like our only option is to be towed out. It's a tough life for the boat motors out here. And just when we get through the overgrowth, the second outboarder needs a break. But after some love, it's ready to get us back to Joffre Value Ranch. We have learned that acceptance within the local community is key. Conservation needs understanding, and understanding needs education. In one of the old farmhouses, Pantera established the only school in a radius of 80 kilometers to serve the local community, to provide education to kids that might otherwise not be able to visit a school. We're invited to spend a day going back to school.
So today we're at the school that Pantera operates here for the community, and we were invited to spend a day with them, a day at school. They are Ribeirinho kids, as we call it, kids that live by the river. And I'm slightly worried because today's math class, and math is not my forte. But I'll do good. I'll do good.
Meu nome é Suliana, eu estou aqui há 10 meses. Eu fui convidada para trabalhar aqui nessa fazenda, aqui para dar aula aqui na escola. Veio eu, meu esposo e minha filha, os que estudam aqui também.
Meu nome é Eduardo, eu tenho 10 anos. Eu gosto de morar aqui. Sinto falta de onde eu morava, mas eu gosto mais daqui. Eu nunca tinha visto búfalo. E nunca onça. Agora eu gosto.
Foi uma realidade, assim, bem diferente do que a gente era acostumada. Mas, assim, eu estou bem satisfeita, estou bem feliz por poder estar aqui, porque eu vejo uma grande oportunidade de fazer alguma coisa por essas crianças. Estamos aqui.
Dude, I have this book. Com ilustração e tudo. Bonitinho, gente.
Eu gosto de estudar aqui bastante. Eu gosto de passear de barco, para ver as onças, os animais, para conhecer mais daqui, porque aqui para mim é um paraíso.
Então a gente recebe da educação infantil que vai até o 9º ano.
So they have kids from 6 years old to 14. Today the 14-year-old is not here, so they have from 6 to 12, which is a big difference. So the teacher has to adjust herself, so all of them learn what they need to learn.
Ao mesmo tempo que você está ensinando uma criança a ler, aí você já está ensinando o outro a dividir, aí o outro, enquanto um está somando, um está multiplicando, então o cérebro tem que mudar muito rápido. Aqui lá está começando a ler agora.
Você tem que virar 10 pessoas.
Ao mesmo tempo. Mas é gratificante de ver o resultado que dá.
Quando eu fico assim, é assim, quando eu vou cair botar no...
Nossa, você vai conseguir fazer também?
Não.
Duvida?
Não vai.
Quer apostar?
Não sei.
Quanto você quer apostar?
100.
100? Tá me devendo 100.
Morava ali, tipo uma casa dessa, mas era de, tipo de terra, daqueles negócios ali. Agora eu tô morando em um barco.
Você gosta de morar no barco?
Gosto. Primeiro faço a tarefa, aí eu vou brincar. Porque algumas vezes tem tarefa pra casa.
O meu desafio, o que eu considero, é essa cobrança que eu tenho de mim mesmo. Aí eu começo a falar, vou até emocionar.
Pode.
Assim, porque eu me cobro por não conseguir fazer mais. Eu planejo lá 10 páginas, às vezes eu não consigo concluir nem 4. Então, assim, eu me cobro por isso, mas por outro lado eu fico satisfeita que não foi assim 4 páginas passadas, foram 4 páginas vivenciadas. Então, eu me esforço bastante para que ele saia daqui lendo, escrevendo e as 4 operações básicas que ele vai levar para a vida, porque é o básico da vida. Aonde ele for, ele vai conseguir ler e vai conseguir fazer contas. Eu tenho isso comigo também, que eu não preciso preparar essa criança para viver somente aqui no Pantanal. Porque pro dia a dia aqui ele aprende a pilotar com o pai, aprende a pescar com o avô, pega a isca com a avó. Então, assim, é uma coisa que não precisa de mim pra... Na verdade, eu que aprendo isso com eles, né? Porque isso aí não é uma habilidade que eu tenho. Ele precisa de mim para ter uma vida lá fora.
Nada igual um peixinho, menina.
É? É nadador, eu vi ele plantando bananeira.
Não tem medo de jacaré, Luiz?
Não?
Aqui pra tirar foto, Ziel.
Perfeito. Perfeito.
Good morning. It's gonna be a beautiful day. And there's a little cat coming. Yes, there is. Okay. Good morning. Today's gonna be a beautiful day and we're gonna see big cats. Bigger than you. Sorry. It's stronger than me.
We have learned about the importance of jaguar for the ecosystem, about the tradition of cattle ranching, about the old conflict and a possible solution. We have seen the school that Pantera operates here. We have seen a lot of animals, but one we haven't seen yet, the jaguar itself.
So we're going scouting for some jaguars. We say scouting for jaguars, but the truth is that we're taking the boat in this beautiful sunrise, in this beautiful Pantanal, and we're gonna see many other things than not only jaguars. But of course jaguars are like the attraction. And actually the only animal missing for us to film, so that would be nice to see some. Today we're coming with Raíssa, she's another biologist who's just arrived, and so she's gonna join us for the jaguar scouting.
Raíssa is currently writing her PhD in biology and has offered to come along to help spot a jaguar. During the dry season, jaguars are fairly easy to spot. When all land is dry, jaguars come to the riverbanks to drink and hunt. During the wet season though, all land is flooded and the jaguar has no incentive to be anywhere near the river and instead navigates the vast, inaccessible hinterlands.
Making such an effort, like I'm looking so carefully that it physically hurts. It physically hurts my eyes. And I really need to pee. That's my main concern at the moment. If I can pee without getting killed. I think I just saw one laying down here. I really think I did. Anna, yes it is, it is. Oh God, yes, my eyes. Right there, laying down. It's really laying down. Right there, it's sleeping. medo. Right there, you see now, right?
No, I can see.
See that here? And also here. And the pots, the glass. There.
Ah, there, I got it.
Eu falo muito da mística da onça, é uma coisa encantadora que você vê, você tem vários sentimentos nela, né? Você sente medo, você sente prazer, você sente alegria, depois quando ela te olha você se sente retraído, então ela te passa várias emoções para você. Aí você vai escolher qual que serve mais para você ficar com ela.
Good job seeing that.
Thanks. I'm glad I saw it. Like, I think if we didn't have a vlog to film, I would just be super, super happy. I'm like mixed happy and sad that we didn't manage to film because we're here filming this, you know? But if I forget the part that we kind of have to film, I'm only happy because it's kind of a gift, you know, of nature to allow you to see such a majestic creature. And it's a very nice way to see, you know, because we're not going to the zoo where they are there and you see them and they're stuck in a place that they don't belong. It's like their environment here and we just come, you know, and we're kind of like, excuse me, we're coming to your home, maybe we can see you, maybe not, it's a box of surprise. And so if you can actually see one, it's just, if you're gifted, you know, if you're just very lucky. Yeah.
It might have been just for a few seconds, but we actually saw a jaguar with our own 2 eyes, and that's pretty incredible. Time to slowly head back to Joffre Value Ranch.
The society needs to understand that it's not just to save a jaguar or the Pantanal, it's to save ourselves. The planet is one and we need to keep this equilibrium. If we do not stop this way of exploring the natural resource, the climate change and all these extreme events will become more and more and more common and will turn our planet a difficult place to live.
2 years ago, relentless wildfires burned 40% of an unusually dry Brazilian Pantanal, an area bigger than all of Switzerland. And little of it made it into the global news.
Eu vi pássaros que pareciam que ele praticava suicídio. Aquela chama de fogo que vinha, ele voava, parecia que ele ficava sem rumo e ia em direção às chamas.
A gente, para trabalhar conservação, a gente tem que ter alguma esperança, né? Porque senão acho que não faz sentido fazer o que a gente faz, né? A gente tem que acreditar que as coisas vão mudar para melhor, assim, por mais que sejam a passos mais lentos, a gente tem que tentar encontrar esse caminho.
The idea is try to create a world where it's possible this coexistence between people and nature.
We would like to thank Pantera Brasil for the work they do in Pantanal, protecting this very special biome and all its inhabitants in such a respectful and sensitive way, raising awareness and leading the change towards coexistence. One thing is for sure, we'll come back.
We got stuck with the quad in the deep mud. We decided to come just both of us, and I had the brilliant idea of coming this road because I felt like those jaguars here. We got very stuck, but we're working our way out. I'd like to give you a high five, but nope. Imagine if we had Frida here, she would be so... We are doing this little bridge. Yes! Yes! We're out! We got it, you know? Did you get into a fight with the jaguar?